All right, hello everybody and welcome to DC Fine Art. Sorry I had a little bit of an issue with my computer. It actually wasn't really an issue with the computer, it was basically myself. I put in the wrong category, so I had to go in and change that before I could go live. That way we know we're not on like a gaming site or something, because I put category as gaming. Don't know why I left that in there and it wasn't supposed to be. Hello, Ice T. How are you? I'm glad to see you here. Yeah, so I think everything looks good. Looks like my volume's good. Oh, well, thank you so much. Um, what was it? I was gonna go over a couple of things before we start on the acrylic painting. We were working on the birds and then moving on to the little ghost. I'm gonna try and get through this as quickly as possible because I know I really want to get this painting done. I um I know that there is some in our polling that wanted some more color pencil works to be done. I have been doing a lot of color pencil, but I've been doing it more towards fantasy, like doing imagination creatures and stuff like that. My daughter really did like it, and so I started to work on these different characters, and basically it ended up being that I had another thought pop into my head, and that was to not only just create these creatures out of my imagination, which they're all related. I actually have them right here. So the first one I did, and I'm going to go over this with you guys. I know I'm supposed to be working on the acrylic painting, but this is an art chat too. So, oops, knock off everything off my table. It's just my cutting board. It's a little one. Oh, they're so cool. Yeah, they're definitely different. So the first one we started out with was this little guy here. And I know I got a shadow like dropping in on him, but he's basically got like little cherries. So it started off with little cherry antennas, and I wanted it to be kind of like a like, what should I say? More of a type of woodland creature, or a type of um what is it called, like nature, like it all has to be nature related. So this one here, nature related, we got the cherries. And then number two, we went into, my daughter was like, well, we need to do like some mean characters. Well, I started to try and do that, but then I turned him into a good character. So this guy here is the little woodland. He's like a chopped piece of wood that just kind of came to life and has a person in it, of course, here. So he came to life. He is a character, but instead of making him a bad character, I put these flowers in there just to kind of say, hey, guess what? It's a good character. If only. Oh, awesome. Well, just think, I've got even a better idea. So after creating this wood character, um, and this, I see this is something that I thought of too, because you're like, well, that one looks a little scary. So I'm like, you know what? I talked to my daughter and we both started brainstorming. I said, I want to do a mushroom, like something with a mushroom. And she goes, yeah, we could do a mushroom. So I said, should it have antennas? I said, we got to make this one a happy one, at least one that looks a little bit happier. And so I asked about the ears, and I said, should I make antennas? She's like, no. I said, well, how about pointy ears? She goes, yeah, how about pointy ears? And then I thought about it. I was like, why don't I do floppy ears on a mushroom and make him a dog, like a little puppy dog? And she goes, that's great. Let's do a puppy dog. So the next creature is a mushroom, but he's a puppy dog mushroom. So I get it in front. So yeah, he's still kind of like that nature theme. He's a little mushroom, but he's a puppy dog mushroom. So there is the next creature that we have. Now, of course, I'm making all these little characters come up, and they're all like happy characters. They're supposed to be good characters. And my daughter really wanted me to do some mean, like bad characters in there. So not just happy characters, but some bad ones too. So I got to come up with some bad ones. And what that's going to do is basically I'm going to create a humongous painting, and I want it on a really big canvas. And we are going to include every one of these creatures, woodland creatures, in this one big painting, and we're going to make a story out of it. So we're going to have our good guys, but we're going to also have our bad guys in it, and it's going to create a story. So it's going to be kind of like this woodland fantasy kind of theme with all these characters in one big painting. So that is going to be something that is going to take some time, but we're going to be working on. So let's see here. Cute. I saw the video. You did. Awesome. What about the withering flower? A withering flower. That could be too. Could it be like a bad guy? Like, is that the bad one? The withering flower? I wonder what flower would be a bad one. Maybe a sunflower, the evil sunflower. She was like saying something about rocks, like maybe something as a bad one would be a rock monster or something. So I don't know. I mean, we're still kind of debating about that on what should be the bad ones and what characters should be the good ones. These here are good ones. The stump, I ended up making that into a good one by adding flowers around him. He's just a different character. That would be one of the bad ones. Or a rose with thorns, like a mean thorn one, because he can get poked by the thorns. Aw, poor little puppy over there. He'd be running, the little mushroom puppy. So let's go ahead and I know we need to get into this painting so we can get it done. After this one is done, I'm going to turn it around. I know we're working on this piece by piece. Let's see here. Hopefully my internet is still doing good. Warning, current bit rate. That shouldn't be popping up unless the storm, we had a really bad storm go through here, so hopefully it didn't lower my internet speed. Otherwise they have to fix that. Let's see here. Let's go to right here so we can see our birds. Have to go for a little bit. Thank you for the live stream. Oh, not a problem. You can always watch it on the replay, so it's not a problem. Thank you for joining, though. And it's nice talking to you. Aw. So, we're going to try getting this here painting fixed up by Ice-T. And we are going to, I've already got it planned out for our next one. So let me get out some yellows. I really want some darker yellows because it is way too bright. I'll be back though. Okay, awesome. Well, you go take care of what you need to, and maybe I might see you later. Aw. So we are going to try and get this one done. I know I still need to do the sparkler on the other end, and we also need to tone this whole entire painting down to make it look aged and old. So that is something that we still need to do to this painting once we get everything else done. But let's see here. This one's kind of darker. Let's make it darker. But I got my butts. I've already got our next one planned out, and it is going to be a color pencil one. So we're going to do a live stream, but we're going to be doing a color pencil. So I'm hoping that that helps out too with anybody who's struggling with color pencil, or maybe wants to see something new with color pencil, or just learn like the process of it. Even though live streams are a little bit slower, we are chatting and we're just having a good old time here. But that might help out too. So I need to concentrate. Let's see here. I want my Payne's Gray, my yellows, my Payne's Gray, because I love Payne's Gray. Y'all know that I love Payne's Gray. And let's see here. He needs some more darker blues. I really would like to add. Let's see here. Yeah, this little area. Well, that's kind of darker blue, and the camera doesn't look that dark. Okay, we'll leave it. All right, so basically I just want to work on his lines on his head. And I want to work on bringing in some of those tones of the yellow a little bit darker because they were just way too bright. And there goes my brush. Like, seriously, I just flipped my brush behind my easel. Wow. I'm not for sure how I'm going to get that one. Hold on. I'll be right back. I don't knock down my whole easel in the process. Back. Okay. Alrighty. So I've already spritzed down my paper, so or at least on the paints, so that way I had a little bit of water in there, make them a little looser. It's easier to layer with. Now, usually if I'm painting on an actual canvas, I am going to be spraying that canvas down. But first, before I start applying the paints, that way it's a little bit more easier. But with this, it's an actual gesso board, and it is super, super smooth. So I'm not really worried too much about spraying it. The paint just slides over this very, very easily, and I don't really have no problem with the paint at all going over this. So there, we made his head a little bit darker. He's got a nice little eye, but we need to make those little ridges, those little lines in his head. And I know they're super tiny. I'm going to use my Payne's Gray. Way too much water on my brush. It's still maybe too much water. Let's try that off. Maybe it might work. We'll just see. I'm going to use my Payne's Gray, and I'm going to try creating some lines, but I'm hoping, and a little dots too. He's got some little dots in there. And we're just going to create those little lines. I'm not really going to stress too much about like how the lines are going. Typically, I'm not too worried about it. It is kind of tiny. Very, very tiny. And these little lines here, he's got some little ones that kind of go. Make those a little bit darker. Not too worried about being perfect with this. The main thing is whenever you're taking a step back and then you look at it from a distance, like how does it look? Does it look like a little parakeet? Make those lines just a little bit darker in there. I can probably have to wait until they dry. It's a little bit wet. Let me just spritz this too much with water. So we got some little lines kind of going in and out. And they are going to go all the way basically to the blue. Here we go. Good. Just kind of throwing them in there. Not worried about it matching the reference photo entirely. We're not doing that. Let's see here. We got need to get a hair clip. I'm gonna look like this. Oh, was it on a TikTok thing? I seen this horse. I know it was crazy. It was a horse, and it had a really really long mane, and that horse could not see when it would put its head down to eat. Like it would take its mane and just go like that all the time. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting to feel like I'm gonna be that character. I'm not character, but I'm gonna be that horse. I guess that horse kind of had a character. I feel like I'm having to do a herbal essence commercial here. I'm trying to whip my hair out of my face. I really need to get me a hair clip. Okay, we got those little lines in there, and yeah, they're not perfect. That's okay. Definitely got quite a bit of them in there. Looks like right in here it needs to be darkened up a little bit. I'm gonna try going back on top of that and seeing if it's dry enough to where it'll take another layer. Just to kind of darken those lines up a little bit in here. Okay. It looks like he's got some lines kind of, now I'm getting to where it's a little too dry. He may have a couple little dots in there. And then he's got this, it's a little darker. That looks okay. And you guys are seeing this like super close up too. Probably got a better look on it than I do. Got you zoomed in there. Okay, I'm going to toss in some white. Put a little bit of highlight on his head. Hoping that internet has kind of cleared up. It looks like it's cleared up a little bit. Had me worried there for a moment. I thought I was going to lose you guys and we were going to have this issue again, which my computer tech guy, he did help out and get that solved for me. And it basically wasn't even nothing on my end. It was the internet provider. They got it straightened up because I talked to this really super nice person and he was a lot of help and definitely straightened up our internet. So if anything goes wrong, I'm going to blame it on the storms that went through. Just like south of me, probably about 30, 40 miles south of me, there was a tornado that hit and like took out like a lot of the town and a lot of the restaurants. Okay, I don't know how that turned on when it fell out of my little cradle here. I'm definitely having one of those days, you guys. I just knocked the whole, there we go, hair dryer. I don't know how it turned it on though. I know I do not have ghosts or anything in my house. I'm not haunted. It's not that. It's my knee. I put it in a place that I think that it would work, but come to find out, my knee is always there, so I'm probably gonna have to move that. Let me put a little bit more. We got a little bit of a highlight that I want to put, and we gotta do his wings. And most likely another layer of blue. And then we got to work on this other bird. Give it a nice little spritz. Just take some white and some of the teal and mix it up together to create a light teal. And then we're going to come in here and add a little bit of a highlight. Looks like there's some just right in there. I don't think it's really a highlight, but it has a little bit of a white feathers kind of coming in through here. Some of this area looks a little bit like not as yellow, looks more. I'll put some in there. This is supposed to be a whole lot of layering. So in order for it to look good, you just got to keep on layering over and over again until you get it the way you want it. So it may look bad, but just keep working with it until you get the desired look that you're looking for. Don't give up on it. Let's put some darker blues in here. It looks a little bit better. That looks a little choppy in there. I want to make that a little bit darker. Let's try and put some of our Payne's Gray. I'm going to try and cut that back just a little bit. And then I want to make this darker. Okay. The wings, I have it more of a yellowish color, and I don't want it yellow. I want it more of a teal kind of color. So I'm going to come in here and try and coat these just a little bit. That looks a little bit better. Okay, I think pretty much happy with that. I go in here and just make a couple little speckles, and it looks like he's got some white little feathers, or white slash teal little feathers. Kind of on the side here, and then maybe coming in. And a couple of them here and there. Yeah, looks a little bit better. If I need to mess with his head a little bit more, because it looks really white on camera and it's not. Let's start working on this other bird and let this one have time to dry before I go back, well, possibly in here and start doing some more. Let's do just a little bit in here. Looks about right. Okay. His eye is super, super tiny. I'm already going cross-eyed looking at it because how tiny it is. All right, so let's start on the other little bird. And she is more of like a teal or blue. She ain't teal. She's got more of the blue colors, whites. I know we got to do his little feet, but we'll do those at the end. This seems a little bit dark with just the regular blue that I was using, which was the brilliant blue. So I really need more white. I'm like running out of white. I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to give it a little spritz. Also, I'm going to give the rest of it a little spritz. And do not cover up the camera. Never. Good job. Okay, so I'm going to start off by doing maybe just some of his little big chest area here. I'm going to start in with a little bit of a base color. If I need to go lighter, I will go lighter. If I need to go darker, I will go darker. But I at least want to get this base color in here where I see it. That will end up being darker around there. I'm going to do some little tail in here. I'm going to take some of the brilliant blue just on its own. I'm going to try and make some of these little outlines in here that's just a tad bit darker. And in and around his foot's a little bit darker too. If you end up getting out of line and it goes onto something like the little wood trim or the wood, don't worry about that. Just take your wet brush and use it to clean it up if you can catch it soon enough. There, that'll be fine. Kind of making some of this darker area come in and around. It's kind of mixtured. Definitely this area needs to be a lot darker, of course. And it'll probably end up going even darker than what I've got it. But we'll leave it like that. And let's go in here and just kind of create a little bit of darkness there. Now we need to create some white color in it, and I'm just going to take a little bit of my blue or my white and a little bit of the light blue that I already had mixed up and mix it in with some of the white and make it a little lighter. And just kind of fill this area in here. There, try and fill in just some little areas. So it doesn't have to be perfect because, as you know, we're building up layers. Okay, there's some darker blue in there. Maybe he's got a darker blue spot in here. Which we could always put those dots in once we get our base layer in. I'd really like to put some of those spots in, but I need to get a base tone in first. It's blue, but it's not that blue. Like it's still kind of that same color that we started out with this stomach area, except that some areas are darker and some areas are a little lighter, but what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of stream through and make kind of like a texture look here. We can come back in with some of our lights, or darks, I mean, and darken them. Actually, these kind of come down. These kind of go around. Like that. Then we got this. String it in there. Accidentally pulled that over the log, so I'll get my wet brush and clean that off. That does look a little bit darker there. Down. And still put some of the little loop-de-loops or little and it doesn't look too bad. Toward the end here, you're going to have a little bit of a darker. We'll put this right there. There we go. I know, it looks like a whole lot of blue in there. But that is okay. Because we're definitely going to be layering. So I'm going to put in a lot more lighter color in here. And then I will tone it down with some dark once we get that in there, but I really like to have this base, lighter base tone. Dark train. It's my favorite train. It's like always there when you need it. It's like a good neighbor. So what has everybody been working on? You know, this is also a good time too. If you guys have any questions, and you may not catch me on the live, that's perfectly fine. If you guys watch this later on, you can always ask me questions. Like, you can even have like questions like things that maybe you would like to see. I know that we had a poll just recently, and everybody got to vote or put in a vote if they wanted to. And I know it only lasted probably about a day for the poll, but it gave me an idea too of what you guys are looking into, like what you guys are really wanting to see on the channel. And so I've been trying to work on that for you guys. I'm trying to do maybe a little bit more color pencil, which I know we're going to do more color pencil once we get done with this painting here. So I mean, there's going to be more of color pencil coming in. But also with color pencil, what are you guys like wanting to learn more of? Are you guys wanting to learn more of how to draw like animals? Like do animals like fur, eyes, mouth, nose, ears, just wanting to see that kind of thing. If you guys are needing help with any of that stuff, I do a lot of still life too. So glass, metal, something shiny, glass, see-through, water, liquid like that, like wine, liquid, because I did a wine glass one time. Not for sure if I actually was doing YouTube videos when I did that wine glass though, so I may not have a video on that one, but I definitely do like a wine glass, like pouring wine out of it. I think the lemon drop one is on YouTube, so if you guys are wanting something with glass and then the liquid, like I think I think that one's on YouTube. So, but I do have my Patreon set up too, and those I try and go a little bit slower. I have been putting some kind of like way out there videos. Like, I don't know. I've been like, I'll actually show you guys. I will show you guys what I've been doing. If you're not on my Patreon, um, really, there goes my hair dryer. Good job. Oh, hi, Ice T, you're back. Hey. I just been like knocking things over, dropping my paintbrush, didn't miss much, just a lot of clumsiness was going on. A lot of clumsiness. I'm good at being clumsy. But yeah, if you guys are wanting to see something particular as far as like color pencil, like wanting to see, like I said, um, something that maybe you're struggling with that you particular that you're wanting to see, just leave a comment and let me know. Right now on my Patreon, I do have a few of the color pencil, like the light bulb and stuff like that. I've got different mediums, so if you guys are wanting to see more like soft pastel, I even got that skull on there for Halloween, and I think I even got the pumpkin for Halloween in soft pastel. definitely. Would like to know though what you guys are actually wanting to see more of. I may have made this too dark. So I'm gonna have to come back in and kind of wash this out just a little bit. Yeah. A little bit too dark. Let me see if I can't just lighten it. I don't need him looking like he's got a helmet. There, that's a little bit better. And I'm going to take some of this regular blue. I'm going to kind of make a streak down here. But we also need to start putting in some of our darker feathers in here. Or at least the dark spots in his feathers. Need to come in here. And I will show you guys too what we're working on with Patreon. We had done a free for anybody, and I think it's actually still on there, but it's like coming up with an idea where if you're struggling with ideas on what to come up with, what to do, then we just kind of worked our way through it, and I came up with some questions to ask, and you fill in the blank with your own questions, and then you kind of come up with your own like an idea. And mine ended up being like a desert, and I came up with, I wanted my animal to be a hamster, of course. And then I came up with another animal, was the camel. So I ended up coming up with an idea to do a little hamster that's in the desert, riding a camel, and he's carrying a little like water canteen. I know, it was something crazy, but whenever you get done with it, you're like creating a story. You're not just creating just a painting. And that's the one thing I see a lot of, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess I have mixed feelings on it, but everybody, like, there's so many people, like, let's just say you want to create something that looks so realistic that you can't tell the difference between it and a picture. And, you know, I've done that. Like, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, you know, that looks almost like a picture. I mean, even though it's so cool and it looks amazing, and you're just like, wow, I can't believe it. You know, that's an actual art piece. I thought it was somebody who just photographed something. But it doesn't really get you that far. And it's like, you know, because there's over millions of people that can do the same thing. You know, there's hundreds and thousands of people that can draw or paint and make it look realistic, like if somebody took a photograph of it. So it doesn't make you different. Like, it makes, that's the way I feel. Like, it doesn't make me feel like I'm different. Like, I want to be different. And even though it's kind of hard to be different because pretty much everything has been created at one point in time, I still think that I want to be different, like creating something unique that makes you happy, but yet being different. And the only way to do that is by, at least in my thought, is practice working on your skills. Like if you want to do color pencil, painting, whatever it is that you're wanting to work on, learn how to do contrast, like between your lights and darks, to make something look more realistic, more rounded, more in depth, like it looks like you can see it. Start working on like fur, learning how to do fur. Um, Maybe do a lot more eyes, making the eyes look realistic with everything that you do. And once you start learning those techniques on how to do that, then start jumping into your own ideas, creating something new, something different. And I've seen it before, and I just kind of watch. I'm like more of an observer when it comes to things. And there was one artist who is amazingly good. I won't state who they are so cool. Oh, thank you. There was there was an artist, and won't name no names, but they were talking about how, and they paint amazing. Oh my god, they do an amazing job creating wildlife that looks so realistic, so good. And so they took their artwork into for an art gallery, and the art gallery looked at them and was just like, "Oh, it's one of those." May I ask why you don't say the artist? Hmm. Oh, because I don't want it, because the artist is actually out there, he's very, very popular and everything. So I don't really like to say things about like other people, like, I don't know, without their permission or anything. So I don't want to like spill out the name. It's nothing bad at all, but it's just without the person's permission. I don't like talking about like saying their specific name because it doesn't really matter anyway. Their name could be Joe Bob, the artist. So it doesn't really, it's nothing negative. So, but I just don't do it without their permission. Um, yeah, so anyways, and even though they actually told the story, by the way, on YouTube. So, anyways, when they took their artwork in to the gallery looked at it and said, "Oh, it's one of those, it's that type of artwork." And even though it was amazing artwork, they said, "No, we don't want any of that here." So it made me wonder. I was like, "Why? Your artwork is amazing. It looks awesome. So why are they rejecting you? Like, why are they saying no?" And I was like thinking, okay, could it be that type of um, gallery that only shows a specific type? Like, um, maybe they don't want realism. Maybe they want something different. So I thought about that, but then I thought this artist is actually smart enough to know whether or not he's taken it into a gallery that would be like that. And he's never sold his artwork. At least not that I know of. But I was thinking that there's the art gallery is getting hundreds of thousands of people that can actually, or not hundreds of thousands in that one area, but they're getting like so many people who have learned online how to create a lion that looks realistic. And you got this lion and it looks awesome. Or you got this tiger that looks awesome. Or you got this bear that's sitting there and it looks so real. But yet everybody else is doing the exact same thing out there. That what makes that different? Nothing. Like it's not different. You just do a really good bear. You just did a really good lion. But if you can create a story about that lion, actually doing something, like when a person looks at the painting, they're not just seeing the lion, they're seeing a lion and a baby cub that's actually, doing something in this whole picture. It tells a story. Maybe that art gallery would have been like, oh, wait, that all these paintings are telling a story in your artwork. That right there could actually get you in. So I don't know. I just a thought that kind of goes through my mind on, how many people out there who can do things so realistically, but maybe start putting that toward not just realistically, but start making a story out of it. Start telling something in your paintings. Like if you want to do a dog, then do a dog that's sitting on a couch with its owner reading a book, on a snowy night next to the fireplace. Give some emotion to that painting. Like you can almost feel what's going on in that painting, or that painting's telling a story. So I don't know. I just like to ramble. Because they're so detailed. Yeah, they're really tiny too, but they're not. My bird is really blue right now. He needs to be a little bit more of a different color here going on. Let's see here. I'd really like to have, it's almost like it has a little bit of a purplish kind of color to it, almost like a, here. I know I got a brilliant purple. Let's try it. No, I don't want that. Here. Light blue violet. I just wasted paint. Good job, Deborah. And you wonder where all your paint went. Let's do white blue or light blue violet mixed in with some white. Give this a little bit better color here. Let's see here. My grandma passed away and she used to own birds like this. She loved birds, so thank you. Aww. That's so sad. Yeah, and I don't know if you can hear them, but they're tweeting in the background, so they are definitely making known that I can hear them. I think they only do that for the live stream. It's like, hey, I'm gonna just go ahead and tweet. Let everybody know I'm here. They're actually my daughter's birds. My son came with a turtle and my daughter came with her birds. Your own birds, yeah. Yeah, they're both in the back over there. They look just they're just like these. So it's the yep, they're in the back along with the turtle and the hamster. Because the hamster, her name is oh my gosh, why did I forget my hamster's name? Oh my lord, I think I've totally went mind blank. Oh, no, I can't get those things out. And they aren't really tame. Like, I have tried everything to try and tame them, and they do not like me. Like, they like my daughter, but they don't really like me much. I guess because they're my daughter's birds, and she's always around them all the time. My little hamster, though, she's in the back, and Stella. I don't know why I forgot her name. But Stella, she's in the back. She's my little hamster. And then Fred is the turtle. That is my son's turtle. He is actually one of my subscribers in Patreon. She told me that he's an African side neck turtle that my son came with. So his name is Fred. So we have Fred, we have Stella, and the two birds. But I think the two birds are Daisy and Violet are their names. And I do believe my daughter is going to be taking them back to her grandma's house. Her grandma got them for her, and she's, I don't know, I don't really know too much about birds. She probably knows more than me about them, but her grandma's gonna be watching them. Oh, I love cats. The only thing that's stopping me from getting a cat is that I'm afraid that the cat would eat my hamster. So, otherwise, either that or if I had like one of those little dwarf cats with the little short little paws that can't jump all the way up to get inside of her tank, then I would be like, okay, that's fine. But I'm just so afraid that she would get eaten. But yeah, I love cats. May have made that just a little bit too dark. Let me take a wet brush. I'm going to try and swoop that from the eye. May have to stay clear of it. A little bit darker on some of these areas, and then we'll see where we are. Right in here, kind of goes off. Now, with this painting here, after I'm done with this, I'm actually technically not done because I am going to, once I get all these little things basically painted, I'm going to come through here and I'm going to glaze this whole entire thing, and I'm going to try and age it to where it looks more aged and old and more antique looking. So all of this is going to be toned down completely. So even though these areas here look really, really bright, it's all going to be aged and toned down. Every single color. But the thing is, it's all at once. All total is going to be toned down. So it's not going to make it look like it changes except for the tone of it. It won't be so bright. So I'm going to put some darker areas in and around her little feet here, just to make that just a little bit darker. And then right around in here, underneath those little tail feathers. I'm going to tone that down a little bit. And just kind of making it a little bit blotchy. It'll be fine. Just want some texture in there. I don't want it to look too solid. And then, now I'm using a Payne's Gray, so I'm not going with like any kind of black or anything like that. I'm gonna let that dry. Seems like looks really bright on camera. So I'm going to kind of move this back a little bit so you can kind of see. Let's see if I can move this back. This is one of those things that, like, watch me, and then everything goes crashing. Okay, let's try and move that back. So now you got a full view here. Let's get the ghost in there. Oh, let's move it. How about we move it? There. Maybe. The glare is really bad. Oh, did you see that? Yeah, we've been working for quite some time on this, so this is a big one. This is a 18 by 24-inch canvas board that I made to look like shelves. And on each shelf has like all seasons on it. So we got Halloween, we got St. Patrick's, we did Valentine's, Easter. We threw in like Mayflowers. Mom and Dad was some of the things for like Mother's Day, Father's Day. We had Independence Day and Memorial Day in here. So we had quite a few things of all, like a whole calendar of stuff. And now we're going to be working on some ghosts. And then I threw in our pets in there. So we have the hamster, we have the two birds, and the turtle down below at the very bottom. So we're going to be working on a turtle too. But hopefully we can get these ghosts summed up too. I may have to come back through on these birds, but these birds actually look pretty good from a distance. There's just going to be little touch-ups that I'll need to do on them, but we're going to tone those all down anyway at the end. Let me go ahead and just look at our reference on the little ghost. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a pretty big piece. And the fun thing is that it's like covers, I try to cover everything in it. Dude, there's my little ghost. And all right. None of these ghosts are really any different except for some of the shadowing. I'm gonna put my hair in the paint. Okay, so I'm gonna try and work with some of the colors that we already have here, and have some fun with it. So we're gonna take the paint spray. We will go to a black, but for now we're gonna do paint spray. I'm gonna put it over here on the side. Ugh, ran out of white. Oh, let's mix some of the paint spray in here. Just a little bit. Paint spray, white, and maybe some blue. Hope that's in view. There we go. Maybe a little bit better. And then I can do this while I wait on those birds to dry if I need to add any more layers to it, which I know I will. Last time I was taking out my hair dryer and hair drying all the time, and this time I figured instead of hair drying all the time, I will just move on to the next thing to try and get some of this done because we've been working on this for a long time. Oh no. Okay, well, have a good night too and stay safe. I know how those storms are, so keep safe. Aw. I hate storms. I've been having way too many of those lately. Yeah, I think all our storms are gone. Until probably next week or this weekend, and it all comes back again, but I don't know how severe. It's I'm gonna create those little shadows in there. I'm gonna need a little bit more white. I picked up my empty bottle. Throw it away, Deborah. Do not keep them. So I'm putting it a white, but it's not a straight white. It has a little bit of that Payne's Gray mixture that I had already in there. It's just much lighter. Okay. I say much lighter, and then I go to make a highlight and you can't even see it. Good job. Okay. Let's go ahead and put in these eyes. And while that one is drying, I'm going to go in and do the exact same thing on this other guy. So we're going to use, or this other guy, this other ghost. It's not a guy. What's wrong with me? I'm going to do it on this other guy. My ghost is now a guy. Maybe I should just call him Feller. I'm going to do. Oh my god, I cracked myself up. Now we're going to start on this feller right here. This feller right here. Hey, his point on his head is not so pointy. I have to make a point. Oh, not too high up. It's gotta look a little different than the other ghost. And I'm working with such tiny like detail here with how small these things are actually pretty small. Start fresh there. Okay, put some of this lighter color in here. His head's looking a little see-through there. Yes, it's okay. He is a ghost. I guess it's fine for his head to look a little see-through. Okay, we're going to take some of that Payne's Gray, and we're going to come in here and do Circle for his mouth. There we go. Woohoo. Now we gotta wait until they dry before we can do anything with them. So now I want to move it back to the birds, and we're going to work on the birds a little bit more while they dry. Birdies. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to take out some of my primary blue. I don't like the way the primary blue looks, so I usually always try and get a different blue, like totally different blue. I don't know. Primary blue just doesn't seem like primary blue. We also got to paint on their little feet too. And their little feet are just like kind of like a gray, or I don't know, there's like some pink, like a little bit of pink in there too, like pink and gray. So instead of mixing my pink, I'm going to be lazy about it and get my light pink out. And then to make the gray, I'm just going to use some of that blue gray that I have, or not blue gray, but that violet gray, and just, or violet, it's like a light violet. Right now I'm mixing white with the pink, maybe just a touch of yellow, because I'd really like it to be more peachy. Maybe a little bit too peach. I don't know. Not too bad. Okay, let's try it. I'm just going to kind of get on some of these little areas here. I'm working with something so tiny. And I'm not too worried about what it's gonna look. I just want to make sure that I get the colors and the tones in there that I'm wanting. Sprayed my hand. Oops. Got out of control there. Let's take my wet brush. Try and clean that up just a bit. That's better. Let's try and put some of this grayish tone in here. Okay. Yeah, here is some of my darker, like my Payne's gray. It's really tiny. I know one thing's for sure. It's like painting something this tiny is not really the funnest thing because you can't really. Get some of those claw-like. Little claws in there. More of the peach tone. Really like that color. I'm going to get some of this white. I'm just going to put it in here. So that way we got a little bit of a brightness going on. And let's do it right here on the top of his head. I know it may look really bright in the computer screen, but it is not that as bright in person. It's actually really much darker colors. Even this here is like a really like chlorine kind of teal looking color, and it's not even showing up on camera. At least it doesn't look like that on my side. So now that we did that, I'm sure these little ghosts are dry. We're going to move them back, and we're going to start working a little bit more on the ghosts. So I wanted to take more of a white, and I'm hoping it shows up better. Let's get to where I was looking at my little ghost. There they are. I'm probably not going to do this exactly like the reference photo because I definitely want some shadows in some different areas here. some highlights in some different areas than what the reference photo shows. So. Maybe down here. There. We're just kind of making some little highlights here and there. It is still mixed with a little bit of that blue, so I'm needing to make it extra highlight. Then I'll probably have to mix up, or not mix it up with anything, just come in with straight white. Let's do this one here. There we go. I'm gonna get in my water. I kind of went over just a little bit. I like that. Let's try and do a little bit of this darker tone that I had with the blue violet. I'm going to kind of stream down here and add a little bit of a darker tone in there. That looks better. I like this blue violet. And this blue violet makes a really nice shadow. Like get in between his fingers, maybe on one side of his hand. Gosh. And now we need to put in another layer for his eyes. I'm just going to do a circle. If I don't get the complete circle, I'm not really, I'm not upset over that. Kind of adds a little bit of depth to have not the whole circle filled in, like double coated. Those are some really cute ghosts. I wish they would. Camera would see you. Like we got definitely some spooky shadows. I don't know why. I can never get that thing to focus in the way I would like, but it doesn't like to, it like picks up everything super, super bright. All right. But I know it's not. So, I mean, I can always go a little bit darker, but they are ghost. And even though they look really bright white, they're actually not. Even the eyes can't even get focused on them. All right, well, kind of a bummer there. on the camera setting. So now with these lines here, I want to just kind of straighten out some of these lines. And you can either do it one way or the other way. You can either put in some like brighter colors kind of around it. I know I need to add a little bit of a lighter or the darker little areas in there. I should just wait until it dries. Just adding another layer in is all I'm doing. Adding just a little bit of the darker blue in here to kind of darken it up just a little bit. It's actually Payne's gray on top of the blue, but it's watered down, so it just kind of darkens it. Just kind of creating a little bit more defined lines in and around the little bird's little feet here. Going on to the next one. Add some defined line in here, going in and around its nail. And right in here. It's a little bit better. And now I'm going to take some of this brilliant blue, just straight brilliant blue. I'm try and darken this up just a little bit. And as you keep layering, they'll just come together so nicely. It's just amazing on how he doesn't have any other colors but blue. Or she. And this little area looks really dark, but it's actually really pretty how I have that. It's coming out really awkward looking on camera. It's just such a shame because I really would like for it to look like what it actually looks like. All right, so I think we have 8:35. I'm gonna kind of zoom this back a little bit. This camera picks up dust too, by the way. Way too much dust. But like I said, if you guys have any other like thoughts on what you guys are struggling with, or if there's anything that you guys need specifically. See, I don't know if I can get the whole thing in here. There's our ghost that we worked on. Just kind of seeing if we can take this back as a whole. Well, maybe. Let's try this. If I don't knock everything down. This is where everything starts crashing. Maybe. So close. And it falls. So you can pretty much see everything at a distance. It doesn't go down anymore. But anyways, but yeah. And as you can tell, look at my hand. Like, my hand looks like it's whited out on my end. And you guys are probably seeing everything so much brighter than what it actually is. Because my hand does not look like it's illuminated with fluorescent lighting. I mean, that is like crazy. Like, my hand is not that bright. So, yeah, look at that. That's crazy, crazy bright. So all this is definitely a whole lot darker and a whole lot richer in color. But besides the color, just learning the techniques of layering until it actually looks good is basically what I'm doing. The birds, definitely, if you look at it in a distance, which I don't know how I'm going to do that, but if you look at it in a distance, without the fluorescent lighting, they're really, really cute up there. The hamster, and then we got the turtle, Fred. So, anyways, uh, yeah, if you guys are wanting any kind of like slower tutorials, definitely hop on over to my Patreon. I do have one video for each medium on there. At least one video is free off of each medium. So, yeah, you can jump on over there, watch that, and then, yeah, definitely. My mind has definitely gone blank. I don't know if it's just because I'm tired or what. And then if you guys have been noticing all of the little creatures that I've been doing that are just kind of like looks kind of cartoonish because they're not real. So anyways, and I'm not using any kind of reference photo for them. I'm just drawing completely out of my imagination, creating characters or creatures, and they're going to be woodland creatures. I am going to come up with a couple of them that are going to look really, really mean. Well, I don't know if they're really going to look that mean, but they're going to be like you gotta have the good guys and you gotta have the bad guys in my creature fantasy painting that I'm gonna end up doing. So I'm probably gonna do more sketches, more color pencil things to come up with to be able to create a really big painting for that. I'm not for sure if I'm gonna videotape that or what. I saved for you guys the, I don't know if you guys want to see this one with color pencil. This is a little mushroom guy. Or a little mushroom puppy. It's not a guy, it's a puppy. Where's the camera? Oh, it's up there. So yeah, mushroom puppy. We got mushroom puppy. I didn't do the woodland creature or the little like log guy. I should just put him right there. Oh, that's much better. Look how bright this is. So yeah, we got the little mushroom puppy. And then I've done, like I said, these spellers. And then I saved this one here, which that's from start to finish for doing a drawing. So on him, I'll probably do a video for you guys. The only reason why is because doing the fur texture would be a really nice thing for you guys to see with color pencil, even though I'm not really doing anything like real. These are creatures. And see, fur texture, but doing it with like red instead. Kind of looks like Elmo. I don't know. So anyways, I'll figure out what I can do for a color pencil piece or something small just to kind of work with color pencils, kind of get you an idea of maybe even which color pencils I use and just kind of tell you why I use them, because I do reach for certain brands of color pencils only because what they do or how they react to blending. But maybe I can pick up, maybe I can do something, maybe something simple for you guys. I'm not quite for sure, but I'm definitely going to come up with something for you guys on the color pencil, and I'm about ready to eat this pole. Like, this thing is super close to my mouth. Like, it's a little crazy too close. There we go. All right. Well, anyways, I guess enough of me rambling. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, jump on off here. But yeah, I will have you guys something on Friday, hopefully by Friday, with color pencil. So I'm not for sure if it's going to be like one of those that I'm doing or if it's going to be something different, just something easy, maybe doing like a strawberry or a cherry or doing something small if you guys are wanting to learn a little bit more with color pencil, or maybe just like, I would say fur, but that is a long process. Oh, I did wanted to tell you guys what I was doing on Patreon. I did say I was going to show you that, so, and I never did. So I have to go get it here. But if you guys have noticed, whenever I said we were doing that free for anybody who wanted to go over my Patreon and watch, like, as we come up with ideas, and I came up with a hamster that was basically, let me change this around, a hamster that is in the desert and it's riding a camel, and he's like a little Sahara desert. So far, that's what we've been working on. So the blue sky, we did the blue sky. I showed how that was done from start to finish on the sky. And then we did the desert. So I have like the desert in there, and it just depends on how you want your desert to look. I didn't want to put too much detail into my desert to where it takes away from the camel and the little hamster that's riding on his nose. And the little hamster has a little water canis, like a little water canteen, and he's got like his little desert like scarf on him, so that way he doesn't get too hot on the camel as he's taking a ride on him. So I don't know, it's just something super fun. As right now it looks like a bunch of holy cheese for the camel, but we are working on the fur. So that was going to be for Patreon and color pencil, and it will be the fur and doing the camel. So that will probably be a part 1, part 2 because of how long it is. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you all on the next video, and that should be coming up Friday, and it should be something with color pencil, so it'll be a surprise for you all. So until next time, bye you guys.